I'd like to take some time to remind you all that if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with everything that is going on, you're really not alone. There's so much going on right now. And if you are in the process of reparenting, you will know that this is just adding to your stress. Just taking some time to be with that difficulty, because we're now moving so fast, so many things are happening. Maybe we don't even have time to sit down and acknowledge how overwhelmed we truly are. And so I'd just like to take some time to really acknowledge that and to give yourself some compassion, to give yourself some grace. Because the bottom line is that you've still taken the time to decide to follow this path of reparenting. As challenging as that may be, you've taken the time to look at some of the more painful issues that you've experienced, to work through those, to do your best not to project and to manage them internally. And the fact remains that there is still so much going on outside of your control. So what do we do in these situations? How to feel safe in an unsafe world? How to find peace in an unpeaceful, chaotic world that's burning down what it seems like. The important thing is going inward. That sounds cliche, meditating or focusing your thoughts, And maybe you're frustrated and fed up. I understand. A lot of people are. But truly the answer, despite everything that is going on, is to go inwards. No matter what chaos is happening around the world, you are always with yourself. Our brains were not created for endless news feeds, endless social media posts with so much data, emotional infection coming in through this overconsumption and overwhelm of this flux of data that is just not even, we are not built for this, let alone these overly dramatic and extremely emotional stories that we're seeing now and just being inundated by this information. It's important to just take a step back. You have to mind what you are putting into your mind. Be careful what information you are consuming. What comes in goes out. And so the important thing here is to remember that you have more influence than you think you do. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, I assure you it's most likely because you're considering too many different factors that are outside of your control. We just need to take a step back and focus on this serenity prayer. And I assure you, if you learn to focus on the things that are within your control, to acknowledge the things that are not within your control, and to release the rest, it's simple. I cannot control political situations. I cannot control economic uncertainty. I cannot control when aliens come to Earth. I mean, there are so many things I cannot control. What I can control is if I go to gym every day. What I can control is how much water I drink. What I can control is how I speak to my friends. What I can control is how clean my house is, for example. And so oftentimes when you're overwhelmed, you might not notice it, but you're being pulled and sucked into the areas where you don't actually have control or insufficient control. The key and secret to life is to focus on those areas where you have control. Control is not a bad thing. It helps reduce stress and anxiety. And so the point then is to make sure that you have the right focus. that you're seeing the right things and that you're focusing on the right solutions. And with that, your overwhelm will decrease. In this chaotic, busy, insane world, as insane as I know it is, it will eventually get better. Everything changes in the Kabbalion. One of the laws, everything changes. Nothing stays the same. This is just a moment. Let the moment come and go, just as your moments, your moods and tidal waves of flashbacks, if you do not engage and do not dig into the story and dig yourself deeper, they come and go, just like a wave. And so what I'm trying to do right now in these days to not be overwhelmed is, again, to focus on those things that are within my realm of influence. And I truly believe that's one of the most important parts of getting started on your reparenting journey, knowing what is in your control, what you can control, and what you cannot. Because some things you just cannot do. You can't do anything with. You just have to step away, let it as it is. And you have to continuously reduce that mental pressure that you have to deal with that. Sometimes you just have to accept things as they are and move on. But that does not mean that our journey and our reparenting cannot still be enjoyable and beneficial, because it can be. It's all about enjoying the process, guys. You have to enjoy the process of reparenting. You have to make it like a game. Because if you don't enjoy the process, it's going to be a fucking bumpy ride. You know what I'm saying? You really have to find a way to enjoy this. As hard and painful as it is, as annoying as it is, you had to find a way to be grateful that you are not stuck in those same patterns that are going to crush your life. You must pay attention. You must learn to take care of yourself. And that is reparenting, learning to show up for ourselves in a real way. And so as we wrap up today, I would like to again just remind you, don't get too overwhelmed. Don't get so wrapped up in everything that's going on. And I know that's platitude perhaps, but truly you cannot get caught up in everything that's happening right now, because that is really going to derail you. It's going to block you from accessing the places and spaces that you need in order to really make progress. And so as we're coming to a close today, I would like to say, and to remind you the importance of reparenting. I would like to remind you the importance of the influence and control that you do have despite what you think and feel. I would like to remind you that you are not alone. There is help, there are resources. You are not doomed. You are not cursed. Whatever. You're not trapped. As trapped as you may feel, you are not trapped. You can make it through that. And what I really want to say is just to make sure that you are always, as much as possible, holding on for hope. Find a way. Find something to reach for. Find something to hope for. Because if you have a why, you can find any way. You just need that why. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and follow. I'd appreciate all the support that you give me so far on this podcast project. And I look to be back with some more videos soon. Cheers.